they are like a child of God. They have St. Paul's and they can pray, so they can overcome this.
Welcome to Vox Pauli, conversations with people past and present at St. Paul's Catholic Student Center at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Welcome, Paul Selberg. Glad to have you here, buddy. Paul, what do you do here at St. Paul's?
I'm the OCIA intern, but I talk to a lot of dudes.
You do talk to a lot of dudes. That is true.
Yeah, try to inspire people about the faith and then walk people through the OCIA process. It's nothing too crazy.
Now, remind people, of course, on Vox Pauli was your lovely coworker, Lauren Bradsky. Can we shout out and give much love to Lauren Bradsky? We love Lauren, do we not?
Yeah, she's a complete angel. Puts up with me very well.
Yeah, she loves you a lot, too. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, she's great.
That's great. She's great. So what do you like? What is OCIA? Just remind the people.
It's a process where some people go just to learn about Catholicism, but overall, it's showing people the full Catholicism, and they can choose to commit and become baptized or confirmed. The way I always like to say is this is also like a commitment. So you can't just commit without knowing what it is. We want everything to be free and loving. So what I love about OCI here is everyone gets a complete understanding and they can choose to commit, and it makes it very loving.
That is very loving kind of thing. Let's talk a little bit about how you came to the faith. You were raised a Catholic, yes?
Yeah, in a sense. I was baptized and confirmed, but I remember my grandma told me that I shouldn't get confirmed in high school because she said, you have to be committed then. But I was I'm going to do it.
She was seeing your life and you're not there yet, buddy, kind of a thing?
Yeah. In high school, we didn't really go to mass at all. So it was
Was your grandma devout or not that devout?
My grandma's mega devout.
Oh, so she knew what was up, as they say.
Yeah, back then, it was the crazy grandma. But now it's it's the prayer warrior.
Right on. Isn't that a beautiful thing when it's grandma, she's a little naughty religious or whatever. Now it's that's why me and all these other people have any chance to know God is because grandma prayed.
Yeah, I always think about it a lot because she definitely praying for me for so long without me even knowing. So it's that definitely probably had a large impact.
Where'd you grow up?
Waukesha.
That's a beautiful Milwaukee suburb, or is this own place?
It's outside of Milwaukee, 30 minutes away.
Fantastic. Where'd you go to high school?
Waukesha North.
What's special about that?
Nothing was too special. I just wrestled all 4 years.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I was never going to join the wrestling team, but a girl asked me to join. And then I became insanely passionate about wrestling. Now,
women are a great motivation for a lot of the things you do in life. Is that true or false? Partially true. But you're always about the dudes. I think the phrase is risen up the dudes. Do we still say risen up the dudes or do we not say that anymore?
I love, I kind of like it a decent amount. I think it's good. I like just risen up the boys.
So let's think about this. A girl motivated you to join wrestling and you like to wrestle.
Yeah.
You wrestle still.
I love it.
But you believe very firmly in guys being very motivational and inspirational and communal and open with other guys.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a tension there, or it's just this is just a natural part of the apostolate, or how would you talk about that?
A tension for guys inspiring other guys.
Oh, so guys inspiring other guys, or is a guy being inspired by girls?
Okay, I feel you gotta get inspired by the dudes, because if you're getting inspired by girls, she might have rizzed you up. So when that falls through, then you all know what that
means. Riz. We know the difference of girls. Riz hey, you're nice versus hey.
Exactly. So if you're rizzed by a girl and you start coming to faith, then when she it's oh, we're just friends. Then it might break you apart. With the dudes, I can have 5 dude friends and there's no problem. There's no beef. If that same girl is riz 5 dudes,
that's the problem, absolutely. And then the guy thinks, oh, my faith life and my life with this girl is 1-to-1. She doesn't dig me anymore. God doesn't dig me, or I don't dig God anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why you think it's fundamentally important, for men to have male friends speaking in normal language.
Yeah, you got to have the homies. That's the only way.
What homie was influential in your life in coming to faith?
Yeah, definitely Jaden Play.
Shout out James Pauli. Not on Vox Pauli yet, but he's known around the place.
Yeah,
how'd you meet James?
Well, he was in my dorm freshman year, and we would just have tons of debates in the freshman lounge. We would just stay up hours debating.
Was he a believer when you met him?
Yeah, he was he's always kind of had that belief in God, but he got confirmed freshman year, but he would often just really scold me a ton. and I'd tell him to like just leave me alone, let me have fun.
Because I've heard it said during your freshman year you had, quote, menacing behavior.
I was an absolute menace, but
yes,
I feel like anything I do, I like to do it hard. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that's true, isn't it? You're not a half measures kind of fellow.
It kind of stinks because like I can't like go to the gym a couple days a week. I have to like go super hard.
Oh, okay.
Or I won't go at all. So like that's why I'm retired, because
me too. Me too. I'd say. Is the same with intellectual things? Like, here's a book or a course, I got to be like into it, or I'm just not doing it.
Yeah, I guess like a decent amount. Like, it just like upsets me if I'm doing something like halfway, because then it's like, dude, like, why are you doing it at all? Like, you gotta like go all out, or it's like.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think that's the kind of bar that should be set for all guys, or hey, just look, some guys you got to slow ball it with or do you think no, like men are made to have this high bar? I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, I think
I do know how you feel about it, but I'd like to hear you say it.
I actually think that my belief might be like a tiny bit like wrong. Where like, for example, with the gym, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to like when I started going to the gym again, I was like dieting and tracking everything. Like, because like maybe you don't have to go super hardcore, because just like a little bit is better than nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like my mindset's kind of bad, where it's like I'm gonna do it super hard, I'm not gonna do it all, but it should be like, you should do it super hard, but if you're not gonna do it super hard, you should at least like do something. So that's probably something I gotta like work on.
So like if we in this faith day, like you should go to mass every day and make a holy hour and say your rosary and do your spiritual reading and make an examination of conscience, maybe pick a little mortificate. We would say like, do it. But we'd also say, well, if you're not gonna do all that, pick one of those things.
Yeah, exactly. Like at least be saying your prayers. Like, yeah, don't give up.
And be good where you are.
Exactly.
So James meets you in the dorms. You're a bit of a menace. He also is a bit of a menace, yes?
He was like slight menace. He wasn't ever like too crazy. We had some fun times together, but I would say he might overhype it a little bit. Mm-hmm. He was like maybe a C tier. I would say I'll give myself a solid S tier.
So I don't know what that means, but it sounds awful. But he's like encouraging you, like, hey, write your behavior a little bit, or?
I mean, I was definitely like mainly just like seeking full pleasure for myself, and definitely like maybe wasn't like the nicest to everyone, or like would have like negative influence in other people. And he also just had like a good amount of like care for me, where he was like, especially when he started getting more religious, where yeah, he kind of just wanted for me. I remember he told me before, like he was like saying how he like dreamed of one day where like I would be behind him in the chapel, like when he's like praying, and he like look back.
Right on. So he set that inspirational vision.
Yeah, but I feel like he probably didn't like fully believe it back then, if I had to guess. I mean, like he probably like believed it, but it was like, I feel like I would be like an easy person that I kind of like count out. You know what I mean?
And yet here you are.
Yeah, somehow it worked out.
Do you think I think it's one of the beautiful thing about St. Paul's. Like, you came down the stairs barefooted with a blanket over your head, and you encounter people like that on occasion. And people always say, like, that's not a believer, that's not a church guy. Mm. But you are a believer and a church guy. Like, where do you think, do we have to foster that kind of freedom? Do you have to work to that kind of freedom? Or like, no, the Christian life is just natural to that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like we're all like very like different, but like I've always kind of, that's just like my personality to be kind of like a bum, like at least dressing like one, like wearing like baggy clothes, wrinkled t-shirts, like that's just how I am. And man, I can still like love and like praise God. Maybe I should dress up more on Sunday, but
you can love God, you can praise God, you can still achieve at a high level. Yes.
Yeah. I'm really big into that, because I always say like God wants you to like be great and do good in school. Mm-hmm. I think it's like sinful if you're disregarding school. Again, I think the way you said it is right. Disregarding school. Not everybody's going to get the same grade. Not everybody's going to get the same, all that. Everybody can try. Yeah, everybody can put their effort in. And if God gave you these gifts and you're not using them, that's kind of messed up. That is kind of messed up. Exactly. St. Paul wrote about that to some level. Talk about your name. Do you think about your name and the Apostle Paul at all? Is that inspirational to you? Doesn't really not, or maybe there's another Paul, not the Apostle, that you're like into? During confirmation, I didn't really know anything. Fair. So I'm like, shoot, maybe I'll just get like the same name as me. But I didn't know like St. Paul's story at all. So it's kind of funny. And I like learned about St. Paul here. It was kind of like, maybe even like sophomore year, when I was just like reading Acts. So like it was kind of cool, because like my confirmation saint is St. Paul, but then like I didn't know about his story at all, and like then our stories kind of have some like parallels. Like I wasn't as menacing as Paul, but like I had like
he was a bit menacing. I agree with that. You read some of the stuff he's doing, like that's a little wild.
Yeah, maybe I had like a couple sprinkles of like Saul, but like not actually.
You were out annoying believers, not persecuting them as.
I was just like a menace. But yeah, I wasn't killing people.
Now you've told me that Pascal was influential in your conversion. That's a little intellectual, right? That's a little in the life of the mind. And even though you present yourself like a beach bum, you actually live a pretty strong intellectual life. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I mean...
So talk about Pascal, who, like, what influenced you and that kind of thing.
Basically, I think it was like sophomore summer, I was sitting on the terrace because I started going there and I would just like read books and like pray the rosary. But I was still like a decent amount of like a menace. And I was like reading it and like logically I kind of just cooked myself because I was like, I would get like really mad at myself because I was thinking with the logic, I was like, wait, like, okay, you're not sure. And that's like fair. Like you're not fully sure if God exists or if it doesn't. Like, how can you risk eternity for a fun Friday night? And I could just never justify it to myself, but then I would like still like fail. And then it would be like, dude, how like, I would just look at myself and be like, how dumb are you right now? Like statistically speaking, like this is just like the dumbest decision ever. But like, it was very humbling because it's like, it seems so clear, but you still fail. But then it like revealed how it's like, how like weak we are and how we have to like rely on prayer. Because like the only way I feel like I was able to overcome like most of the sin was through that prayer, even if I fully understood like why I shouldn't.
So like what we would call Pascal's wager, that to risk your life that God exists is the righteous wager because it's eternal blessedness and reward, and you can find happiness in this life. Whereas to risk that God doesn't exist for fleeting pleasure, you know, that the wager is obviously in the pro-God side.
Yeah.
But that's intellectual. You're saying you grabbed onto that, but you needed a prayer life to like correspond.
Yeah, because like you can like understand stuff. Like even as students, like we know we have to do our homework or to study to do good on the test. But then like a lot of us just like procrastinate because like it's easy to say stuff but hard to like do them. So like Pascal's wager, I knew what type of life I had to live. Like we still, even now, I still know what life I have to live, but then I'm still like sinning. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's kind of inevitable. That you're gonna fail, and the only way like you can like decrease that failure of like falling into sin is by getting that prayer life. So like at least for me, that's like the only way I was able to overcome a lot of sins.
Well, that's really like St. Paul. The good that I would do, I don't do. The evil I would not do, that I do. Who will save me from this wretched flesh of mine? Praise be God who has saved me in Jesus Christ. Or what Pascal, who wrote The Wager and gives a highly rational like reason to believe in God. He's the same guy that says ours is not the God of the philosophers, but the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of the living, not the dead. And I feel like you've wha-bam that, and you've lived that in your life in cha-ching. And let's move. Okay, let's dumb it down for a minute.
Okay,
you're incredibly bright. Your buddies are incredibly bright. Andrew's very smart. Justin is super smart. Right? All these geniuses that we have around. Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But then you all say wabam and cha-ching and Riz and all of this, which, as you know, I'm not against. I talk like a moron now too, right? Explain this to me. Is it culture connection? Is it just being silly and fun? What do we got going on here?
Yeah, I think we're just a bunch of goofy gooberts, so we talk like that. Yes. Also for me in like high school, a lot of people would call me like the smart kid or something, and I started getting like, I didn't like that at all because I just wanted to be a kid. You know
okay, so then being the smart kid is not, it's setting you apart. Well, almost making you non-real.
Yeah, I just wanted to be like, I feel like I was kind of a loser in high school. Where like, I mean, I would just go home and play video games. I didn't like have that many homies.
You were not the prom king.
I was not the prom king. I mean, I feel like if I put myself out there, I could have, if I like went back in time, I probably could have cooked some, you know what I mean?
Oh, fair enough.
But like, yeah, I just wasn't cooking. But yeah, I kind of like wanted to just be like more like the homie and like a kid like everyone else. So I'm like, yeah, I was like, I don't know, it's kind of fun talking slang too. And with like the video games, I would always hop on Discord with people, which is like a communication thing. We would become homies. We would all talk in slang. So like that's how
we're playing videos and becoming homies on Discord.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you do that now?
No, but I've met some really good friends. Like there's a guy I met in like 3rd grade, and I played with him until the end of high school. So like that's a lot of years. He got like married and like had a kid, and then we like text a bunch, and like he's in Texas. Like he's my homie.
All right. So you're staying in touch with these people. I've said this before, like who's going after the gamers? Who's going after the nerds? Right. A nerd has a wholly different context in today's life. Do you resonate with nerd or more goober?
Me? I'm more of a goober.
What's the difference between a goober and a nerd?
Well, goober is just someone that's goofy. He doesn't have to be like smart. A nerd is someone that's like smart and not anti-smart, but like awkward.
Like withdrawn.
Like, what do you mean by that? Can you reiterate that, please?
Okay. Sorry, as you know, I'm overcoming deathly. I've gotten basically the entire student center ill, as you know, except for you.
Well, actually.
I
was pretty, I don't know. Yeah.
So when we're doing your apostolic outreach, right? We see you with lots of these guys, lots of different kinds of guys. Like, what's the key in grabbing hold of these guys? Is there some magic trick to it, or do you think you found something simple to hit on?
I mean, all I say is like, don't count numbers at all. And all you have to do is like, try to love everyone. And when you do that, like every single person's a child of God and yearning for this relationship. It's like every time we encounter someone, we should be trying to love them. I feel like that's what's given like me some success, because I feel like I authentically like try to get to know each of these people and like try to help them, but then like also learn from them. And it's just very beautiful. Like even with like the homeless ministry stuff I do, like it's just very beautiful seeing how much like people like appreciate being loved. So like I just like try to love everyone.
Let's talk about that as the first debate on how to love people. Food for Thought is a student organization, correct?
That's correct.
And it's doing a lot of good work in outreach to the homeless on State Street or beyond State Street as well.
I mean, we go anywhere, but yeah, mainly like State Street by like Capitol Sun.
Tell us about that and about what, like, you meet someone, what kind of things do you guys try to instill in your people to love? How do you teach them to love this person?
Yeah, so what we do is we basically just cook a big old meal, and then we go out in groups of 2 and offer food to someone without shelter and say like, hey, are you hungry? Yeah. And then kind of eat with you.
So you'll sit and eat with them?
Yeah, the whole point is like, it's called food for thought, because we're giving them food for thought. Food for thought.
That's brilliant, Paul. It's brilliant.
So yeah, no, and it's like we want to be like wholesome, where there's some like power of like eating a meal together and sharing that meal. And that's why like we like try to focus on like the quality of the food too a lot. And then we just like want to hear their story, and like a lot of them. So there's some homeless people that haven't heard their name in like weeks. So it's like it's like important to like call them by their name, and then some of them just have like beautiful like life stories. And there's just like that huge struggle of like not feeling wanted or important. So it's just there and just like trying to show them that love. And people like us, we're like so desensitized to being like loved. We're so used to people like doing stuff for us. Well, these guys, like no one has like done that to them for a while. So they just appreciate it so much. And it's like,
we used to, mom and dad fed us. We put our debit card down and someone gives us our thing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. These people have had but like long time with that kind of experience.
Yeah, so they just like appreciate it. Like it's just crazy sometimes getting like the amount of thanks I've had from some of them when you do so little, where it's like you feel like so unworthy of their thanks, because it's like I've done so little for you, but then it's so like huge
in their life. Yeah,
it's like pretty beautiful. And,
how often do you guys do this?
Right now, I try to do like with the group like once a week, but I'll just do like random side quests for myself. So
you yourself, well, you and a couple guys, or?
Yeah, I just go solo a good amount. I feel like when I'm like alone, I can get like pretty deep.
Sure.
When I like on the weekends, a good amount of times I stay back to just clean the kitchen and let everyone else go out. But last night I really enjoyed something. I like slept outside with some of them, and it was cool because I was talking to one guy before named Mike Walls. Sometimes he goes by White Walls because he's white. But he told me that I don't know how hard the concrete is, because we were like getting like deep. So I wanted to find out. So I found out last night by sleeping on the concrete.
Was he right? You didn't know how hard it was?
I slept kind of good, honestly. It wasn't too bad. But I was only there for a little bit. But it was like kind of nice, because I remember I woke up and there was like a good amount of noise, and I was like scared for a second. But it's like, and like a little bit cold, and like you can like know things. We can like be told all this stuff, but but you don't like really know it until like you experience it.
Absolutely.
So, like, that was like kind of like my goal, to like try to like better know this by doing this. So that was really nice to like better know what it's like to like be homeless.
And you get that point. I could be a better friend to someone if I know what they're like. So can we transition that into like the apostolate with students? What kind of principles do you have on when you meet a fellow student? How do you love them? What are some like keys for people?
First, I think it's good just to hear someone's testimony. Like, so many people have like crazy life stories, or even if they're simple, but they don't really get to share it with anyone. Like, even for like a lot of our good friends, we probably don't like know their full story and their struggles.
Isn't that true? Isn't that true?
So just like getting to the deets, and like it doesn't take much, just asking. I remember one guy, I asked him his 5-minute testimony. He revealed a lot, and he goes like afterwards, "I can't believe you got that out of me." But all I asked was for a 5-minute testimony. Like, I wasn't like people want this, but they just aren't asked.
That's awesome. What are some prefaces to that? Is it just, hey, how you doing? My name's Paul.
Well, it's like,
what are you stuck? Because we're stuck in that, like, what's your major? What do you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you're talking like that, everyone talks like that where you don't have a bond at all. So like when you're talking so small talk, it's getting you nowhere. So I just skip the chit chat and I go like, "I've seen you be cooking at St. Paul's, coming to Sunday Mass." I think it's really beautiful because, no one's forcing you right now. It shows that free love. How did you get here? What's your testimony? Like, what's your 5-minute testimony?
Okay, awesome.
Just like,
I saw you here. How'd you get here?
Yeah. And I say, it is beautiful seeing people coming to St. Paul's when no one's forcing them. So they likely do have like a beautiful testimony. And I think like I almost have like a system with a lot of stuff I'm saying, but I think it's like a very like loving system where you can love in a system. Kind of like,
oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So like I kind of like follow that. Fully get to know their story. Asking about someone's prayer life is great because everyone's prayer life probably kind of sucks a little bit, and then like it creates that vulnerability and that bond. And then even if you can get to like the details of the sin, because like a lot of people struggle with like a lot of sins and feel a lot of shame and don't share with anyone. So if you can hear that, you have like a piece of them that like no one else has. You have that knowledge, and then you can like even pour that love in and be like, yeah, you struggle with this, and this, and Jesus still loves you, and like I still love you. And then
right,
they are like a child of God. They have St. Paul's and they can pray, so they can overcome this. And then you just let them know. You're like, I believe in you. I see you coming here by your free choice. So you want God to work through you. So I think if you let God work through you, you're gonna like overcome all of this. And like I really believe in you, and I'm excited for you.
That's awesome, and it is that affirmation. And I think how our Lord so many times is, he's ripping the Pharisees to shreds, and then Lord Jesus, he'll get on you if you need it. But with, I'm coming to your house today. All right, you follow me. Which again, I think there's got to be a lot of other things he says. Once he says these guys, you follow me, and it's like, I believe in you, I want you. So that's a beautiful thing, Paul. That's a beautiful thing. So
yeah.
So now you're in this year in the apostolate. You're helping people come to faith, and you're raising people up all around the place. It's a great, great thing. Can you tell the people a little bit about the internship at St. Paul's? You have a particular part of the internship. What about the internship as such? Why did you want to be a pastoral intern?
I just like works so perfect, and there's a couple of reasons. Firstly, at our age, we're setting the habits that last our whole life. So it's beautiful to have this year to instill all these good habits before like my life gets like really crazy. So I'm like, one of the main reasons I wanted to do this was really for me and like growing my faith and receiving the Holy Spirit. So like building this habit now will let me like keep this for the rest of my life instead of just like jumping straight into like the quote unquote real world. Also, like going to med school, I have a gap year, so like fits in perfectly. And I just like kind of love this stuff. Like
you do, you're good at it. It's such a life-giving thing, right?
Yeah.
Sharing the deepest part of ourselves is such a life-giving thing. You have an awesome profession ahead of you. But yeah, having this year to do this apostolate is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So
I honestly like love how you fella kind of like run the show too, because I'm very like giving people control and letting them foster their own passion. Because like when you follow certain rules, inevitably you like lose a little bit of passion. But when people are like free, that's when they foster the most passion. And I feel like you've really like helped us to do that. Cause like,
Well, thanks for saying. I believe in that same thing very, very firmly. It's a little dangerous, obviously. You got to crack back sometimes, but
what's crazy for me, cause like I don't really like recall it. There's almost like nothing. I feel like you really told me to do too much.
Don't make Kelly upset.
Yeah. Besides
Don't
like little
make Kelly
crap like
mad.
that. Not just a little crap. Important stuff like that. And here's the thing, like, so it doesn't even feel like a job because I don't really like check my bank account really because I don't really spend any money. We don't really get paid any money. And for food, I can scavenge it here. So it's like
There's a lot of food to scavenge here.
yeah, I just like I'm just like living my life. Like, I don't know. I'm just like
The only intern who's making bank on the internship yet. It's a beautiful thing, Paul. Paul, thank you for being with us. Do you have any parting word for the people?
not really, but I guess I go forward.
Go for. Couldn't be better. Paul Selberg, thank you very much. We appreciate you, buddy. Thanks to all of you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.